The state of Kansas and Crawford County have lost their mask mandates, but that's not the case for public schools in Pittsburgh. You'll learn why coming up.
Missouri's governor signs into law bills dealing with adoption and children's safety. We hear from a local nurse practitioner about her time fighting the coronavirus in Navajo Nation.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
Some Pittsburgh parents want to know why USD 250 students are still required to wear masks when the state of Kansas and Crawford County no longer have mask mandates. This is KOAM News at 10. KOAM's Mike Mahoney spoke to one parent about his concern and the Pittsburgh superintendent to get an answer.
Brian Hansen is a Pittsburgh bar owner and the father of a student at Pittsburgh High School. He wants to know why USD 250 students still have to wear masks in school when the state of Kansas and Crawford County are no longer enforcing mask mandates.
I don't know if they're scared to be have some sort of litigation brought up against them or whatever. Well, it's time to just be done.
But Pittsburgh school officials don't see things that way and say when it comes to the safety of students, they want to stick to what works.
Since it has proven to be effective to this point, and since we are within a short time frame to the end of the year, the board's wishes is to just go ahead and allow that policy to remain until the end of the year, and then we'll reassess for next year.
But Mr. Hansen doesn't agree with that assessment.
Well, I'm concerned with why they think that their views and ideals are more effective than what the state and also our county has said.
The USD 250 superintendent notes that while Kansas lawmakers may have axed the statewide mask mandate, the recently passed Senate Bill 40 empowers school boards to set COVID-19 policy for their districts. And the school board in Pittsburgh doesn't want to gamble when it comes to keeping students virus-free.
We don't think that it's really good for us to change policy midstream unless we have extreme factors in which the masks, since they have worked, didn't necessarily, was it considered to be an extreme factor.
In Pittsburgh, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
The superintendent also says that all COVID-19 mitigation factors will be reevaluated before the start of next year and not just the mask mandate. Joplin police say a man tried to rob an ice cream shop, left with nothing, and now he's facing charges. Prosecutors have charged 24-year-old Kevin Miller with first-degree robbery, armed criminal action, and attempted escape from custody while under arrest for a felony. Police say last night Miller went to the Andes on South Range Line in a black mask and handed the clerk a note. The clerk knew it was an attempted robbery and began to call police. JPD says Miller lunged at the employee with a knife, then ran off. No money was taken and no one was hurt. Checking in with Doug Heading now, getting some rain across the area, Doug.
We are. We've been getting showers and thunderstorms for several hours now, for about 6-7 hours. Showers and thunderstorms rolled in late this afternoon. Now, we did quite a bit, 67, at least warmer than what we have seen all week long. And then the initial band of showers and thunderstorms, we had some stronger storms. We haven't seen anything severe. Now it's kind of just moderate showers. So there could be a rumble or two of thunder, but we don't have to worry about any severe weather, at least for us during the overnight hours.
I think we're having some mic problems. We're going to try to get that worked out, and we'll get a complete forecast from you in just a few minutes. All right. Thanks, buddy. Missouri Governor Mike Parson signs 2 bills into law regarding foster care and adoption tax credits. One bill allows the Missouri Children's Division or a juvenile officer to seek termination of parental rights when a child 2 years old or younger has been abandoned for 60 days, or if a child at least 2 years old has been abandoned for 6 months. The bill is meant to remove barriers for adoptive families in consent adoption cases. The other extends tax credits for maternity homes and adds rape crisis centers to the shelters, to which individuals may donate in order to receive a tax credit. Both bills make several statutory changes to make the adoption process more accessible, including the expansion of an existing adoption tax credit to include the adoption of any child. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly has vetoed 2 Republican-backed education bills. One of the measures would have required high school students to pass a civics test to graduate. The other would have allowed districts to incorporate gun safety courses into their curriculums. The Republican-controlled legislature approved the bills this month, but not by large enough margins to override attempts to be successful. It wasn't immediately clear if anyone who opposed either bill initially might back one or both in an override attempt, or even if attempts would be made. Some Republicans who opposed the bills agreed with State Board of Education members who said the measures would have infringed upon the board's constitutional authority to set graduation requirements. Tomorrow, area law enforcement agencies are hosting drug takebacks in Kansas. The collection events are part of a nationwide effort to safely dispose of leftover medications to prevent accidental or intentional misuse. Pittsburgh Police Department will host one from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. To find other locations, just check out the link on our website right there, KOAMnewsnow.com. Still ahead, the CDC and FDA lift a pause on the use of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine. But not before that pause put a stop to a planned vaccination event at Arrowhead Stadium. Last year, the Navajo Nation, the largest Native American tribe in the U.S., had among the highest COVID-19 infection and death rates in the country. Now they're nearing herd immunity. Nurse practitioner Patricia Ridings is a family nurse practitioner in Pittsburgh. In May of last year, she went to Gallup, New Mexico with COVID care relief to help the Navajo Nation fight against the pandemic. Now she's proud to see what the nation's accomplished.
It makes me very happy to see the progress they've made and that they've had some victories through it and that they're coming out stronger. I think the message, especially for that population, that culture, is perseverance.
The Navajo Nation yesterday reported there were no COVID-related deaths for the 11th time in the last 12 days. Tonight, federal regulators ended the pause of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine, clearing the way for healthcare providers to resume administering the one-dose shot immediately. Officials say an updated fact sheet will be distributed starting next week to warn patients of the rare risk of developing blood clots. Deborah Alfarone has more.
The FDA and CDC have officially lifted the 10-day pause on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
Together, both agencies have full confidence that this vaccine's known and potential benefits outweigh its known and potential risks in individuals 18 years of age and older.
The motion carries.
Earlier, a CDC advisory committee voted to recommend resuming emergency use despite several women developing rare and, in at least 3 cases, fatal blood clots.
Lifting the pause on J&J's vaccine is in the best public health interest of the U.S. population.
FDA officials say they'll continue working with the CDC to monitor the vaccine for more cases and update the guidance as more information comes to light. Vaccine eligibility in the U.S. was expanded to all adults 16 and older. And now the CDC recommends pregnant women get Pfizer or Moderna vaccines after publishing a study in the New England Journal of Medicine.
No safety concerns were observed for people vaccinated in the 3rd trimester or safety concerns for their babies.
Administration health officials are also launching a new social media campaign to combat vaccine hesitancy, pairing doctors and scientists with celebrities and professional athletes. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Silver Spring, Maryland.
In a statement, Johnson & Johnson said it will continue to work with health organizations around the world to ensure rare events can be identified early and treated effectively. A mass vaccination event at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri has been canceled. Jackson County health officials cite a number of reasons, one of the main ones being the pause on Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccines. Jackson County's assistant health director says they considered other vaccines, but they weren't sure whether they'd be able to hold follow-up vaccinations at Arrowhead for a 2-dose variety. But he's hopeful that the home of the Chiefs hasn't seen its last mass vaccination event.
These mass vaccination sites still have a place in vaccine administration, given the fact that we only have about 35% of the population in Jackson County that has received a first dose.
There are no plans on when another mass vaccination event could be held at Arrowhead. President Biden is making a push for a green economy on day 2 of his climate summit with world leaders. Throughout the summit, the Biden administration has stressed that tackling the climate crisis and creating jobs go hand in hand. Ahead of President Biden's remarks, the Department of Energy announced more than $100 million for new projects aimed at helping workers in hard-hit coal and power plant communities. History was made at the Kennedy Space Center early this morning with this. 4 astronauts took off with help from a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket for the International Space Station. It is the first time astronauts have launched into outer space in a capsule that's been used before. Later, why Fort Scott Community College's spring football season is coming to an abrupt end.
And showers and a few thunderstorms sticking around for us tonight. We're going to look at that, plus the weekend coming up next. Well, we've had the showers, the thunderstorms throughout the late afternoon into the evening hours, and the first little band, we had some pretty strong storms, a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning, but we haven't had anything severe, and we're not going to see anything severe, at least from this storm system, which is great news. So from this point on, we're mainly looking at just showers and a few thunder showers. Here's a live shot. This is Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside on the west side of Seneca, Missouri. Now, prior to the rain, it wasn't bad. We had a lot of clouds. Temperatures pretty good. We did go into the mid 60s for highs for us today, even upper 60s. And of course, once the rain began, then our temperatures dropped off a bit. Most of us are kind of hovering into the upper 50s. We'll drop back into lower 50s a little bit later on tonight. But look at the bands of showers and thunderstorms where you see the yellows and the oranges on the radar. That's kind of showing us those batches of moderate to heavier pockets of rain, but there's a lot of green on there, which is just light showers. And you can see really most of the area, a little bit of a lull in our northern counties, but we aren't seeing anything strong or severe, which is good news. Let's go ahead and zoom in. So here's Joplin, here's Pittsburgh, Miami, Carthage, Neosho, and you can see pretty steady showers right through the city, and then a little bit of a lull once you get out through Cherokee County. And we have these pockets of heavier rain, so Nevada along I-49, also once you get down toward Bentonville, Mount Vernon, then out across Montgomery County, up toward Yates Center. So we got these pockets of heavier rain, and we will continue to see this over the next several hours, and then this whole storm system will start to rotate out. Any severe weather has stayed mainly to our southern parts of Oklahoma, northern parts of Texas, and that's about it. So at least this storm system isn't a big severe weather producer across the entire Central Plains. Here's 1 o'clock in the morning, still showers and a few thunderstorms. These are going to continue to kind of rotate in all night long. Heaviest rain is going to be out of here in a couple hours, and then it's going to be patches of showers as we go through the rest of the night. You can see these are kind of rotating in from the northeast to the southwest, and it's because the area of low pressure is to our southeast at this time. But we're going to have these hit and miss showers all the way into the morning hours, and then I think by the time we get into the afternoon, we're going to start to dry out just a bit. So that's good news. Additional rainfall from this point on. On the Kansas side, maybe a tenth, maybe a quarter of an inch, quarter to a half an inch. In Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri, you could still pick up an additional half an inch to an inch of rain, but this has been a pretty wet system. We'll have the clouds into the early afternoon, and then we break out. Actually, tomorrow afternoon and evening is going to be pretty nice. We'll clear out, temperatures into the mid 60s. It's just not going to be the best start as we have those scattered showers and a lot of clouds until the noon hour. After that, it looks pretty good. Tomorrow night, with the moisture on the ground, I think we could see a little bit of patchy fog, so watch out for that. But Sunday looks great. We're going to have mostly sunny skies. We shoot all the way up into the mid 70s by the time we head into Sunday afternoon. So let's say 3/4 of the weekend looks pretty good. 83 on Monday. By Tuesday into Wednesday, showers and thunderstorms again. Some of these could be strong, possibly severe. So we got to keep our eyes on that. That's our next system that is going to grab my attention.
Oh, if it grabs your attention, I'm sure you will grab ours and let us know what we need to know when we need to know it.
Yep.
Thanks, Doug. Coming up in sports, Coffeyville Community College men aim to move on to the national championship basketball game. And Pitt State aims to gain some ground on Missouri Southern in this weekend's rivalry series. We're going to hear from the Gorillas next.
This weekend is rivalry weekend for Pitt State and Missouri Southern baseball. The Gorillas host the Lions for 3 games this weekend, starting with a doubleheader tomorrow afternoon. Now, these two teams are two of the best in the league. The Lions are second in the standings with 9 to go, while the Gorillas a few games back in 4th. Now, the big test for PSU this weekend will be scoring on one of the best pitching groups in the league. Either way, though, with where they are, this series is important for both teams.
For us to go forward, we got to go through Southern. Southern's a good team, good competition, so looking forward to this weekend for sure.
This one's important because I think they're number 2 and we're number 4, and we're trying to catch them, and they're trying to make sure they set themselves up for regionals. So, it's important for both teams to come out and play good baseball.
In the major leagues, both the Royals and Cardinals in action tonight. Cards kick off a series at home against the Reds. They're about to finish that one off, up 5-2 in the top of the 9th. Kansas City already finished off the Tigers today 6-2. The Royals are now 11-7 this season, currently 2 games up for first place in the AL Central. The Galena Bulldogs are an even 6-6 to begin the softball season. Last night they dropped both games of a doubleheader to the Colgan Panthers. Galena aims to bounce back today with a non-conference matchup against Mount Vernon. Early on, it's the pitcher, Madeline Cole. Down the left field line, Madison Freeman and Taylor Watkins both score on the double. Bulldogs up 3-0 early. Now in the second, check out Watkins. Got a hold of this one, puts it over the fence in center. 3-run jack for Taylor Watkins. Galena extends the lead to 7. The Mountaineers here in the 5th. Kylie Stockton, opposite way into right field. Tasha Collins comes home. Back to Galena, though. Madison Freeman back up. This one goes through the infielder's glove over there. 2-run score for Galena, and that puts an end to the game. Bulldogs roll by Mount Vernon 11-1. The Coffeyville Community College men are in the JUCO Division I Final Four tonight. They face the Chipola Indians, with the winner moving on to the national championship. Check it out. Coffeyville gets it done 66-63. Coolest part, though, it's an all-Kansas Jayhawk Conference National Championship, with Coffeyville facing Cowley tomorrow night. Fort Scott Community College is ending its spring football season early. The school made the announcement earlier this week, citing injuries and attrition to the roster that left them unable to safely compete. Fort Scott went 0-3 in the 3 games they did play this spring. Now they'll turn their attention to competing in the fall. And when summer does roll around, they'll have 70-plus newcomers and about 30 returners on the team. Head coach Carson Hunter says those returners and the big group of newcomers are the right type of guys to help get the program headed to where they want to go.
We've done as thorough a job as we can, making sure we're only bringing in the toughest, highest character kids to represent this college. And of course, they also have to be above the line in terms of their ability. We've made tremendous strides up and down 69, making sure we're recruiting kids from eastern and southeastern Kansas and within the service region. And not just any guys, but guys who actually fit who we are as a town and who we are as a college and the things we stand for as a program.
That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
We take time now to honor a local veteran, Private First Class Aaron Givens. The Columbus, Kansas native served in the U.S. Army, and we are proud to salute Private First Class Aaron Givens. He's tonight's four-state hero. A VHS movie rented more than 20 years ago has come back to haunt a woman in Texas. Problem is, she never returned the tape she rented in Norman, Oklahoma, and as Erica Stannis reports, that landed the woman in some serious legal trouble.
The first thing she told me was felony embezzlement. So I thought I was going to have a heart attack.
It was a moment of disbelief for Karen McBride as she was talking to the Cleveland County District Attorney's Office this week, where she learned she was a wanted felon for never returning Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, on VHS 21 years ago. A movie she says she never even rented.
No, actually, I had lived with a young man. This was over 20 years ago. He had 2 kids, daughters that were 8, 10, 11 years old. And I'm thinking he went and got it and didn't take it back or something. I don't know. I have never watched that show in my entire life. Just not my cup of tea.
Online documents show McBride was charged with embezzlement in March of 2000, but never knew about the charges until recently when trying to change her name on her license after getting married.
And they told me that I had an issue in Oklahoma, and this was the reference number for me to call this number, and I did. Meanwhile, I'm a wanted felon for a VHS tape.
Documents show the movie was rented at Movie Place in Norman, Oklahoma. We've since learned that business closed in 2008. Ed Blau with Blau Law Firm told us Tuesday, even though there's technically no victim now in the case, because charges were filed and a warrant was issued against McBride, Cleveland County could still prosecute the case.
I mean, I didn't try to deceive anyone over Samantha Teenage Witch. I swear.
McBride says over the last 20 years, she's been let go from several jobs without giving a reason why, and says now it all makes sense.
This is wise because when they ran my criminal background check, all they're seeing is those two words, felony embezzlement.
Wow, the DA's office said it decided to dismiss the case against McBride, but law says it still needs to have the case expunged in order to clear her record. Think of all the young people who've never even heard of a rental of any sort.
Hey, those
VHS.
blockbuster charges, late charges, they were pretty steep.
Yeah, 20 years of them, that would add up, plus interest.
All right, some more showers, even a few thunderstorms for the rest of the overnight hours tonight. Showers tomorrow morning, but by afternoon and evening, turns out to be a pretty good day.
Enjoy your weekend. Let's take care of ourselves and each other.